There's Yerushalmi Demai Daf Yudches in the article as well. Other edition. Yerushalmi, I say Demai, Masechus Demai. We're starting with the third line down. Yudches Amav Chad Toy de Tzimukin, and that is in the Vilna on Daf Chesam and Beis. No, Daf Chesam Rav Chad Toy de Tzimukin, the second line down. Somebody carrying raisins. All at Tveria came to Tveria. Shal Gamliel Zuga Rabbi Ba Bar Kahana. Rabbi Gamliel Zuga was a famous character in Tveria, appears several times in Yerushalmi. Asked Rabbi Ba Bar Kahana, what's the status of these raisins? They have to send them from Eretz Yisrael, and they're chayiv in my, or can we assume they're from Chutz La'aretz? So, Amalo, Ein Kol Eretz Asui Masui Echad Shel Tzimukim. He said, even all of Eretz Yisrael doesn't make one load of tzimukim, one load of raisins. So mistama they come from Chutz La'aretz. So the Gemara asks, hey, be'en kol Eretz Yisrael oseh maso echad shel tzimukim? What? All of Eretz Yisrael doesn't make one load of raisins? Ela ken amar lei. So this is what he said to him. It's an interesting way Yerushalmi puts it. Sounds like it's sitting over again, but obviously means of this kind of raisins. This kind of raisins doesn't come from Eretz, so this kind of raisins comes from Chutz La'aretz. Chad Barnash, I say Chad Ashpala de Kaplutin. One person brought a shovel full, a bucket full. A shpal is a type of bucket you carry stuff in of Kaflutin. Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Tavli. I think Kaflutin are turnips. Nope, leeks. Sorry. He brought a basket of leeks to Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Tavli. Show Rabbi Yochanan. He asked Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yitzchak asked Rabbi Yochanan if there is an issue here of the might. Amalei Puk Shal Hananiah ben Shmuel. The Tnisa. Go ask Hananiah ben Shmuel, who evidently has a Masorah about this. So the name Moshe says, Nisa means I taught him. Sheshanisi lo adina zeh. I'm not sure why Rabbi Yochanan wanted to answer himself, but he said, Kol Hananiah ben Shmuel, I learned taught him halacha. Nafak v'sholei, yeah, went and asked him. Amalei, Masnaye loyech mele shmua. The Masnaya loyech mele says the Pnei Moshe. Brisa lo hirali. He didn't show me Brisa. Nami lo marli, or he didn't tell me a Brisa. El shmaitz omarli. Kakshna Rebbe Yasa Mishmei. So he said again, I mean, Masnaya lo. Yachmili. Either he didn't show me the brisa, or I never saw a brisa. But Shmuel Amarli. But I heard a Shmuel, meaning a statement of Amoraim about this. And he heard it evidently in name Rabbi Yochanan. Tamar Rabbi Asa b'shem Rabbi Yochanan. I guess he didn't hear it directly from Rabbi Yochanan, but he heard it indirectly from Rabbi Asa. Yispagan Rabbi Lezer, Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Lezer, Shimon argue about this issue. Charamar achar makomo. One says you go after the place. Charamar achar ma'modo. One place goes after the stance. So Baz explains Charamar makomo l'chumra v'afil ome b'chutz la'aretz. You go after the place where it came. Even you're standing. Ma'modo means you're standing chutz la'aretz. Azim l'basar mokam sheba misham. You go to the place in which it came. V'charon achar ma'modo. You go to the place where you found it. Came and Sha'omei b'makom heta tolin shemikanhu. You assume that it came from here. Umuter. Some of this seems to be true from what we're about to say. The Ephraim, he's going on the next line. But he brings down here. B'chumas parak gimel tav tezvav amrav agirsa revi. Well. No, first I guess I have to see the mice, and then we'll come back to it. So one say you go after the makom from whence it came. The other says you go after the place where you're standing now. Rabbi Avo Amar, the Rabbi Avo said, Rabbi Amar Achar Makomo. Rabbi's the one who says you go after its place. Hore Le Kada Rabbi Lezer B'Shimon Achar Ma'amodo. But he passed for him like Rabbi Lezer B'Shimon, who says go after the Maimet, a place where you're standing. So before we get to the next one, which qualifies that, let's see the Moshe Ravam first. Pedid Rabbi Udamar Achar Makom Ochim. You go after its place. Makom also Adam Shevi, for the place in which the person brought it. Makom Isser, whether it was a place where it's prohibited, Omi Makom Heter, or a place where it's permitted. But let's show Omer Achar Mamod Achshavar Ochim. We go after where it's found now. Kind of like Kanim to Kanhoya. Not quite the same thing, but it's found here. We go after here. Came to Makom Isser Osir. The standing place it's where it's people where it's chayv in Mai. It's also you have to take Mai over this. The chashina shema it kind of be it's maybe brought from this place. The Gemara goes on and says, that's talking about when you have a bucketful, that a small amount. But if it's a whole load, a large load, so then you don't go after Ma'amoda. You go after the place from whence it came. If the place from whence it came, the place where you're standing now is mutter. And he's eventually going to bring it to a place where it's osir. Osir iser kamishalo heviro. You don't take that into account. The fact that he's going to bring it to Mokum Isser. So, a little bit difficult. Why we take into account something which is going to happen in the future. So Leislan ba when I consider this vavi also mokum mishul lo evir derech sham lashim sham kaf also mokum be'osos imo. So the way he's saying it's really in the past, and he took it from a certain mokum, and that's where he came from. And he took him from Malcolm A, and now he's standing in Malcolm C. And both places are Heter. So assume it's Heter. But in the middle, he went through Malcolm B. And Malcolm B, it's Isser. So, nevertheless, we don't. If he told us from Malcolm A, and now he's in Malcolm C, and both are Heter, the fact he went through Malcolm B in the middle is not an issue. We still hold that it's still Mutter. It's as if he didn't take it to that location in the middle. Rabbi Kohen come Rabbi Yossi. Lochem Rabbi Chiv Shem Yochanan Rabbi Chaver Lochak Rabbi. So we pass on Rabbi whenever Rabbi has a malachas with somebody else looks like Rabbi. Here the pasuk was a Rabbi Shimon. They go after the Maimed and not the Mokum. V'amar Rabbi Yonah Rabbi Yitzel Rabbi Shimon. Even if Rabbi arguing with Shimon, we still a pasuk like Rabbi. Amalei ma poim Rabbi Yochanan. What do you want from Rabbi Yochanan? Rabbi Yochanan daite. Amar kali kil b'shvi shumidi v'reim. They're lenient by Shemitah. Okay, I assume the same thing was by Demai, because they both made the Rabbanan, that were lenient, and evidently going after the Maimud is to be a leniency. Because you can even go after the place he's standing, even for the place to come from whence he came, is a Mokum Isser. Isboy Maiman, it's time for that Rabbi Yochanan, Lezer Shimon, V'yirba Rebbe. It's a shocking thing. The Chor comes out that this Gor holds Rabbi Yochanan as a Tano Polik. Because they're taking Rabbi Yochanan into account and teaming him up with Lezer Shimon against Rebbe. So, and we know it looks like Rebbe Chavero, V'lo Mechaverov. So taking Rabbi Yochanan and making him part of the group to make a Chaverov and paskening like Rabbi Lezer Shimon. That's amazing Gemara. Assuming that's the Pshat in the Gemara. So the Gilead Ephraim says, B'Chumas Per Gimel, Daftes Vav Agirsa Rebbe V'Chaverov, that even Rebbe Chaverov halachas like Rebbe, Vayin Ksubas Chaf Av, Amra, Bavli, Bavli, Babas, Shar Makamas, Nebnei Shapir Shamaisa, Shemokum Mamadi, Mokum Isser. He wants to say that the place where they were standing was a Mokum Isser, or the Chumrah. And Rebbe passing, and when Rabbi Lezer Shimon said he go after the place of Achrei Modo, he's being Machmer. Mokum Heter. Of course, it's the opposite. The place he's standing was a Mokum Heter, or a Kula. And it was a leniency. Upirsha Pnei Moshe Tamua. Pnei Moshe says astonishing. Though Rabbi Yochanan Gankis for the common, she's Perchestav Chavav Kimam Rav, the Kali Kilu B'Shvi Shemin Rabbanan. We'll go a little lenient by Shemitah. For a Maisil Rabbi Dolam Ochim Achar Makomo. Im Av Makomo Mokum Isser Mokum Amodo Heter. Also, why we say, according to Rebbe, that we always go after the Mokum for which came, even the place in which the place came is Isser, and the place we're standing is Heter. Chen Yerka Gra. Every pass like the Grush. Sides like the Rosh. Maisa Haya, B'Shemamokum Mamodo Heter. Place in the Maimon it was Mutter. V'Hora Rabbi Yochanan was Mako. The Framans, the Shima Makomo Mokum Heter, Mokum Mamodo Isser. If the original place was Heter, and now it's in Mamodo's Isser, Habosik Rebbe Achar Makom Makula. He also go after Rebbe Achar Makom Makula. In other words, Rabbi Yochanan would have gone Lakula either way. So in that case, it doesn't really fit in with the end of the Gemara that Nitzvah Daitim Rabbi Yochanan Rabbi Elazar Shimon according to Pashup Shad, because it sounds like it's not a tziruf. Or paskening like if it's Mako, because it's a Rabbanan, Savi Rabbanan Kula, so therefore going to be Mako. So Reb Chaim says something like that. He says, "V'lo Rabbi Yochanan Matzi Poligad Arabi." He doesn't go with, of course, Rabbi Yochanan Tadon Polig here. El Shem Achriya Kisvar B'Svar Rabbi Elazar Shimon. And according to the Svar would be that, we go like the Gra, we go Lukula by the Rabbanans. Going back a second to the Gemara with which you started today, the Shaitai says the raisins we're talking about here were in a certain shape. It's like you press dates in a certain way. So therefore they only press this way from in Chutz La'aretz, I guess that shape. They didn't press that way in Eretz Yisrael. Interesting, he doesn't say anything about the Rabbi Yochanan being starif, which I thought he might say something about, but no, he does not. We'll check the Mashbiach. I don't think we'll say anything. Nope, nothing either. So let's go on to the Mishnah. Halacha base. Hamakabel of the Ostem, somebody who sets upon himself. Now it's going to be given credibility in terms of saying something was Meiser. Meiser shemoicha b'eshuach. So in order to get that situation, he has to Meiser both that which he sells and that which he eats. B'eshuach that which he buys. And he can't be a guest by an Amoritz who might be choshed on Meises. Somebody who's a guest by an Amoritz still believes still has credibility. Amalei said, he's not believing himself, because what is he doing in the house of Amoritz? How possibly could he believe on others? So the says the Gemara, when it says he's buying something, the Mishnah means something which he's buying or indeed he has to take off Shumas and Meises from it. What do you mean? How could it be? That's indeed. But it says already that which he eats. El Eshlokeach Minas Limkar. Somebody says so he's buying in order to sell. That can be either. But then Eshumocha, it says something with which you sell. You have to take off Meises from. El Shlokeach Minas Limkar, that which he's buying in order to sell. Eshumocher miperos mechanso. So there are two things here. There's lokeach Minas Limkar is buying in order to sell, and the selling is from fruit which he has gathered personally himself. Tani, we learned from time immemorial, so to speak, from days of Balabatim. Learning the Baba, people learning the Mios it's a Balabatim Chavreim. The people would not refrain from being guests by other Balabatim. Even though they would eat by them, when they would bring their fruit back home, they would be masaking them. It was to be like kind of like Havas Reim, I guess. They would eat by them, but nevertheless, if they were taking fruit by them, they would still be meiser by them before they ate it. So this is the Pshat and Rabbi Yehuda in our Mishnah. There's Rabbi Yehuda in the Mishnah who said that it's Neman, because even though they were lenient when they went to eat at his house, they were machmir kedasu kedin when they were in their own houses. The Chaim Kanievsky bring this down, doesn't bring down that they're simply meiser. What they took from these same Balabatim's houses when they took home to their own house, just in general. Even though they weren't so makbid when they ate by somebody else's house, they were makbid when they were at home. Rabbi Yoina. Chaver ein chashudim lo lechol v'lo lachil. He's explaining that what Yehuda says that when you eat, these chaverim, even going to Rabbi Yehuda, they ate in other people's houses, but they were masaking the other people's houses. In other words, even though they ate by them, when they went to eat there, they were masaking the food there. So the Ereshit lo lechol v'lo lachil. When they went there, of course not machil others in their own houses, but they're not even ochel by somebody else's house unless they fixed it up. Rabbi Yossi, chaver chashim lechol ve'eino chashim la'achil. No, Rabbi Yossi disagrees. He says they will eat in other people's houses. Demai, they will not, but they won't eat in their own houses. Demai. Masnisa pliga al. Here it says Rabbi Yossi. I wrote on the slide of my Gemara al Rabbi Yoina. And I said v'chein nira, and I wrote Masha Mefarshim Kulam Nilu Miyushal Lefi Zaytev. What so evidently sends only Mefarshim with conniptions works if we just change Rabbi Yossi to Rabbi Yoina, which would be easy to do because it was probably just said Reish Yud, and somebody made it into Rabbi Yossi instead of Rabbi Yoina. Let's see that. So let's see if it works out. Let's see if it Rabbi Yoina. Amru lo. They said to him, the Rabban in our Mishnah, Al Atzmo Eino Naman. Right? He's not believed on himself. Okay, that's quite clearly going to arguing Rabbi Yoina, because Rabbi Yoina says that they fixed it. Whenever they went to eat somewhere, they fixed what they were eating, not just what they. And the Gemara says it can't be, because the Gemara says not that way. The Rabbanan and Mishnah say that they say to Rabbi Yehuda, the time Rabbi Yehuda is no. How can they possibly believe on others and not believe in themselves? So it's quite clear from the Rabbanan that they don't hold that the scenario is like Rabbi Yehuda is talking about. Otherwise, Rabbi Yehuda, the Rabbanan's time on Rabbi Yehuda would not make any sense. They're clearly saying that outside their house, when they ate other people's house, they were masakits, so not believed on themselves. How can they believe on others? Okay, so then what it says, Milan the Rabbanan beside Rabbi Yossi. Where the Rabbanan say seems to assist Rabbi Yossi. Dam Rabbi China, Rabbi Yossi, Shem Rabbi Yochanan, the Rabbanan we're about to bring down, I should say, the non-Rabbanan in the Mishnah. Dam Rabbi China, Rabbi Yossi, Shem Rabbi Yochanan, Lo Amar Rabbi Yehuda Ella Basaif. The Rabbi Yehuda only is saying b'diavad. Avol Chila af Rabbi Yehuda Modi, but the Chila even Rabbi Yossi concedes that. So the Moshe says. No, let's do the Radah on this. The Radah says, Perish im adam echad kibbel lav lios Naaman. Somebody was accepted by himself to be Naaman. Shas Kabbalah, at the time he made the Kabbalah, Hitna, he made a stipulation. Mamar, chutz midavar echad. I don't want to be a Kabbalah one thing. I'm accepting everything, but not be a guest with Amoritz. And become so. We don't accept it. Avim b'shas Kabbalah kibbel stam. But the time he accepted by himself, he accepted it by himself generically. And then it happened, he ate by Amoritz, but Zeh lo yibei chazkasa. But it doesn't lose chazkasa, his initial nemoris. Ukikocha us, ken kocha rata, linear nemoris. Saying nemoris. Okay, that makes sense. Because Rabbi Yossi says they can be choshet to eat, but not choshet to give somebody else to eat. After he accepted the nemonis. Even he ate by Amoretz, I feel okay. We're not concerned it's going to give others to eat. But to be saying Balakabelios Naaman. If you want to accept to begin with to be a Naaman, Chutz Midavar and you want to stipulate except for one thing, Sholitzarech et Amoretz not to be a guest by Amoretz, Ein Mekabin also. Then we don't accept him. Ein Tema Chaverin Ein Chashudim Lo Lachov Lo Lachil. And if you're going to say the Chaverim are not like Rabbi Yoina, not choshed not to eat, nor to not to give to eat, nor to eat, Ma ben Chila ben Masov. What's the difference between beginning or end? Some of the Rabbi Yonah, Damar, the Gam Ocha, it's Amoritz Misakin, that even the person who eats by Amoritz is going to fix it, Mashoch, whatever is going to eat, and Kain Tchila B'Sov Shavim. So the difference between accepting the beginning and then later on making exception for yourself. Rabbi Yonah leave Rabbi Yossi the Rabbi Yonah Tamar Gam Ochel it's Samaritz Misakin Mashochel. He said that even so he eats by an oritz, it fixes what he eats and came Chil B'Sav Shamim. I think I just went back a line. Sorry if I did that. Chil B'Sav Shamim Rabbi Yonah Aliba de Rabbi Yehuda. But okay, in any event, though the and he goes on to bring evidence to his interpretation. So that's a very fine interpretation. Reb Chaim has a different interpretation. He says that we say the according to Rabbi Yehuda, even somebody who's a guest by an Amoritz is Neman Al says it's not at the time that he's by the Amoritz, that would be B'tchila. Only Basof, when he goes back to his own house. And I would say he's, in that case, to say he's Naaman, even though he's by Ma'oretz, but in the end, when he goes back to his own house, he's believed. But at the time he's an Orech by the Amoretz, Basher Usham, he's not believed, and we're not relying on him to eat something when he's in the Amoretz's house, if he gives it to eat. So says that's the raya for Rabbi Yossi, because if according to Rabbi Yonah, he said that he's going to fix it even in Amoretz's house. So she didn't believe when Am is in Amoretz's house. But according to Rabbi Yossi, no, he's not believing in Amoretz's house, only when he leaves. So then, because he doesn't fix Amoretz's house. So the fact that it says that you only believe once he leaves, that would be indication that this Rabbi Chaim, or this Hashem Yochanan, is going like Rabbi Yossi and not like Rabbi Yonah. Okay? Next thing, the Tani is the girl shakes out the Dalit, and that is it's a new thing, Tani. And so that we're ready on your test and Aleph, I believe. So, yeah. So, yeah. So we'll see it for tomorrow.